This is a truly fascinating story right here. Oh, I cannot wait to get into it because, man, it really is something. It kind of hit me by surprise, actually, as I was scrolling through Mice Chat's amazing updates that they do every single week. They kind of embedded something that was very, very interesting, and I had to bring it to your guys' attention. Here we go. From their weekly update, the most stressful place on Earth? A new study analyzed TripAdvisor reviews containing words linked to stress. Things like crowds, overwhelming, frustrating, and anxious. The results? Disneyland ranks #1 among U.S. tourist destinations and #5 in the world. And it isn't alone. 6 Disney parks cracked the global top 20. There you go, folks, right here.
Mr. Vash, I have to ask, where are the Chuck E. Cheese locations with all the kids at? Where are those?
They did not crack the list there, Nolan.
You know, you have to ask, is it about being there or about getting there? Because remember, the old tagline on the Jungle Cruise used to be, now we come to the most dangerous part of our journey, civilization and the Los Angeles freeways. So
that's a good point right there.
That's a big part of the stress, I think.
Indeed. Well, yes. I mean, the stress getting there has definitely got to be part of it, right? But I think there are things unique to Disneyland that not even Walt Disney World shares, and we'll definitely get right into them. But here you go. Disneyland Resort, Anaheim, California, with 16 million annual visitors, with 34.06% of all the reviews that were studied on the TripAdvisor website coming in with stressful reviews right there. I think that's very profound, very interesting. With the Las Vegas Strip over there, #2 in the U.S. with 31.43, with National Museum of American History, Washington, D.C. with 30%. #4, the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, Missouri, which I have heard is very stressful indeed at 26%. And Disney's California Adventure with 5 million annual visitors. It's a little bit low, but that's with 24%, 24.37 to be precise right there. And way at #10, actually, is Walt Disney World at 20%. The natural question is, why is Disneyland so distinctly different when visiting than Walt Disney World? You would think Walt Disney World, well, you have to get on a plane, you have to actually get out there. You're spending tens of thousands of dollars, whereas maybe you're not spending quite as much to get to Disneyland. Walt Disney World has 4 parks. People try to pack it in. Why is it so distinctly different?
And why is there such a difference with DCA? I mean, why are there 4 other places in between when they're side by side? You would think it would be more or less the same for both.
You would think so, Lou. But Disneyland stands out above the rest right here. And I think it's just a very fascinating discussion. Do you guys have any idea as to why Disney Resorts?
Actually,
please.
I always wondered this because I've never been to Disneyland, so I have this very actual question: what if we were to go to Disneyland? What's the stress we would be encountering, and the difference between Disney World and Disneyland in that regard? I've actually been wondering that for a long time.
Yes, I have a few theories, but I kind of want to suss out what your initial thoughts are regarding this whole thing.
I think it's nuts.
I'm kind of shocked because I would have thought Land and World US swapped them completely, because my experience is at Disneyland, if you land a decent enough hotel in the area, you have a lot of different opportunities to get over there. If you're close enough, you can walk over, you can Uber, you can Lyft. Like, there are a lot of options, and honestly, it felt like a pretty safe, not too stressful area, all things considered, at least at the time, from my personal experience there. World, I can understand, because you kind of need to have some kind of degree from some Disney university in order to just figure out how to navigate this dang park and how to buy into all their experiences. Like, there's just so much to account for. And, it is probably one of the #1 family destinations in the world. So, there's going to be a lot of kids, a lot of strollers, stress levels can be very high. There's a reason they push the drinks so hard there, so to speak. Like, I'm just going to say to shock that Land is the one that's landing at the top.
Looking at this footage of the twain, a thought occurs to me. How recently were these polls done? Because it could be that Disney World is less stressful because there's less at Disney World anymore. There's no Rivers of America. There's no Dino Land. You have fewer choices, and therefore that's less stress because you're stuck with whatever they've decided to let you have outside the construction walls.
Vash, so correct me if I'm wrong. Now, that Disney World, it is all of the parks, right? Disney Springs included. That's not just Magic Kingdom?
No, yeah.
Yes, that's Walt Disney World. And that's very interesting because they actually distinctly separate Disney California Adventure and Disneyland from its resort infrastructure right there. So it's a good point to be had right there. I think when looking at the list and seeing Disneyland at the top of U.S. tourist destinations, I think you have a lot of people, and this could be the problem with a list like this, right? With a study like this, and it could show some flaws. Remember, they're analyzing keywords in TripAdvisor reviews, right? And for an annual pass holder population, a population that visits so frequently, you would be most inclined to leave a review if you had maybe a bad experience attached to your visit.
True.
Upon revisits and so forth. So that might be upping the ante right there. But when getting into why Disneyland Resort might be at the top, I have to think that the theme park reservation system, which has been largely done away with at Walt Disney World, but is still very much enforced at Disneyland, has to be part of this equation
that's
right
probably
here.
it. You're right.
I mean, the reservation system is a very stressful thing, and that doesn't much matter whether you're a ticket holder or whether you're a Magic Key holder. Magic Key holder, I would say, disproportionately very, very stressful, right? Because I've heard so many instances where people actually wake up and they go, I'm not feeling well, but I have a reservation for the day. Let me go ahead and cancel it. They cannot cancel on the same day. They either have to go down to Disneyland to check in and check out, or they have to take that strike. And again, if you take 3 strikes within I think it's a 90-day period, you lose the ability to even go to Disneyland for a period of time. Even though you might be still paying for your Magic Key, or maybe you have it all paid off, it does not matter. You lose your ability to visit if you get 3 strikes within a period of time. That's a big, big deal. And I think that adds to the stress level, along with a host of other things. But what are your thoughts on that specifically?
I think you've hit it. I really do. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I've heard it so frequently now. Dusty Sage actually has additional commentary that I wanted to go ahead and read it for you all. So let me go ahead and read this. Here's how Disney parks ranked on the list of world's most stressful tourist destinations. Number 2 in the world is Tokyo Disney Sea with 40% stressful reviews. Number 4 is Tokyo Disneyland with 34% stressful reviews. Number 5, obviously, Disneyland with 34.06% stressful reviews. Number 9 is Hong Kong Disneyland with 27.34% stressful reviews. And number 15, California Adventure with 24.37% stressful
This
reviews.
is from TripAdvisor, right? Which is largely an American and UK thing.
That is true.
So a lot of that stress for all those overseas parks could just be about the language barrier too.
Another thing to keep in mind too, if most of these reviews are possibly coming from, like the American side of things, you could be getting a lot of, people traveling across country. And honestly, if you're doing an excursion to another country, you probably have a lot on your mind. And I assume that I could be completely wrong here, but you're probably gonna get more people who opt to complain about a very expensive trip than give accolades online about how great it was. I mean, of course, here we like to celebrate, all the good things of a theme park, but I think people are a little more inclined to spend that much of their time if they're going to complain. Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, I think you're right. And especially TripAdvisor, I notice when I see a good review of anything, a restaurant, hotel, and suddenly there's a scathing one, and I go look where that person's from, 9 times out of 10, it's the UK.
Yeah. So
it's not just me that the UK people, do you guys think they're picky, or do you think they're valid in their complaint?
The ones I read are kind of trying too hard, but that's just me. That's just an anecdotal experience. I don't know, by and large.
I think they can be very picky. And one of the reasons why that might actually be is because, well, they're spending tens of thousands of dollars to get across the pond and get into an experience like Walt Disney World or Universal Orlando. Now, the very interesting thing about this survey here was that the other parks that landed in the top 20 are Canada's Wonderland and Toronto, with a whopping 67% of reviews flagged as stressful. That's crazy. Universal Studios Japan landed at number 3. SeaWorld Orlando took number 7, and Universal Studios Hollywood came in at number 11. A lot of local parks in there, a lot of regional parks. The one park that didn't actually crack the top 20 from when I looked at it was Universal Orlando. Nothing there actually was up there, which I thought was very profound. And I think maybe speaks to the quality of the experience that Universal provides in the Florida area.
It was just that epic.
I guess it was. So why do theme parks stress us out? This is Dusty Sage here. According to the study, among the top visitor complaints are long queues, restricted operating hours, premium pricing, unpredictable weather, and the, quote, weight of sky-high expectations for heavily marketed destinations that often promise more magic than they deliver. We certainly recognize the stress many visitors have had with the happiest place on earth, quote, high prices, park reservations, the inequities of Lightning Lane, for sure. Frustrations with restaurant reservations and a lack of places to sit and relax all make a park visit challenging.
If I were voting that list, Vegas would get number one by far, and for a lot more reasons.
And Vegas is number 2, but please go ahead.
Well, I mean, first of all, it's gotten insanely expensive as it gets less and less. I was reading an article, I think I posted it somewhere in our backstage stuff. People going to an ATM in a casino and being told there's a $50 fee for using it for transactions.
Oh,
50.
What?
Yeah,
Insane.
and
$50.
cocktails and even coffee at $20 and $30 a pop.
That's
And
ridiculous.
but it's like my father, God bless him, when he was alive, we used to watch people in Vegas, and he would see these people marching up and down the strip. They were going to hit every hotel all night long. And he said, that doesn't look like vacation to me. That looks like a forced march, to the River Kwai. It's a lot of work, getting around there. And of course, there's the unspoken stress of I'm going to lose money, which is what you're there for, I guess. But to me, that's much more stressful than any theme park. So.
And I think in normal times, maybe it would be. Maybe it would be the number one most stressful location, but I think a lot of these digital services, a lot of the complexities that Disney has added to a theme park experience have shifted it over time in order to be in top 10, top 5, those kind of marks right there.
See, if I was asking those questions, I would have had a follow-up question saying, what would you have picked 10 years ago if you've been to the same places, and see if it's changed? And I think you'd be right, because of all the added complications of reservations and lightning lanes and all the rest of it.
So interesting. But we also think that many people having the worst time are trying to visit the park in a way that's just not possible anymore. Disneyland has more attractions than any other theme park. On the plus side, that means there's much more to do, but it's also stressful to try to do it all in one day. The solution, if you can afford it, is to visit 3 or more days. And they actually say, like, if you can take advantage of discounts, you can take advantage of things that offer you more time there. That's probably the best way to go. We've long called on Disneyland to make the guest experience joyful again. Being ranked the most stressful attraction in America should be more than enough reason to act. It's time for leadership to bring in the experts and reset the theme park experience. The fixes aren't a mystery. Just dust off those early Disney University handbooks and return to the standard operating procedures that once made Disneyland the envy of the world.
What if they don't care? What if they kind of like it because they figure they're offering the high priced super duper lightning lane stuff as a solution,
right,
to your stress? Hey, we'll take care of it all for you. Just pay us a couple of $100 a day.
Yes.
That's what they're selling.
Land.
They're selling relief from a pain they have already created themselves.
Defunctland's Fast Pass video actually expertly crafts this, in that it's a monster, right? And that it's grown to such an extent that they have to keep constantly feeding it. And in order to solve a problem they themselves created, well, now they're charging for a lightning lane, which
have
is
the
not
consumers pay to fix our problem. It's genius.
Well, make the problem in the first place with the eye to doing that.
Right.
And how's that working for them? Look at that stock.
People are bringing up the fact that Josh D'Amaro being in the kind of the hot seat here in order to become the next Disney CEO. We've talked about the 4 that have been on the table before, and it looks like Josh D'Amaro is winning that race right now. And Dusty Chage has this to say about that as well. Josh D'Amaro, who runs the Parks and Cruise line, was once Disneyland's president and surely knew that cast members were being underpaid. This is in relation to that $233 million lawsuit that they just settled with the cast members, both former and current, of Disneyland. He's also the architect of the park's mobile everything system that helped make Disney the most stressful theme park operator in the recent study that we just cited. But Disney can't keep sliding backwards with fans, employees, and investors all at once. Iger's retirement could be the moment to reset, to signal a return to creativity, quality, and the value that wants to define the brand. The money above all approach of the Chapek era hasn't been scrubbed away. In fact, Disney seems to be burning through what little goodwill that it has left. Remember, that's Dusty Sage writing that in Mice Chat. Okay, that's not some of the haters that they claim we as being or simply associate us with being. That's Mice Chat writing that. I think it's profound.
See, there's 2 things about Josh. First of all,
Please.
I think he's primarily responsible for landing the deal in Arabia. And I think that deal is going to pay the bills while they're rebuilding everything and make up for the loss of revenue. But the question becomes, if in 5 years, 6 years, they've built all the new stuff they're going to promise us, and everything's open again, and everything's been refurbed, and everything is perfect, which it won't be, because we know that from recent experience with things like Tiana. If all of that is true, can they catch up to Universal in Florida? I don't think so, because they're not exactly standing still. And so it's like you're the greyhound chasing the rabbit around the track, right? But the rabbit's on a machine, and you're always going to be behind it, or else there's no race.
It's very, very true.
I just don't think 6 years, 8 years from now, when the walls are down and things are better and all that, mostly what you're going to have is what you used to have and haven't had for years.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.